I originally became a sailor in the bathtub, I think. I'm Captain Nigel Bower. I grew up in Sheffield, England. Found my way to the coast of Maine. I think I'm genetically encoded to be a sailor. My mother always used to wonder where I got it from. I came from a sort of industrial town, but always dreamt of being by the water and always loved boats. And yeah, it seemed to be sort of something that was in me from early on. Yeah, I came here in the tall ships race in 1984, which is well over a quarter of a century ago by now, I think, on a square rigger. I'm probably one of the last landed immigrants to arrive on a square rig ship.
My name's Bonnie Schmidt. I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. Moved to Maine when I was 20 to go sailing. I always dreamed of sailing traditional boats. I always thought it was something of the past. It wasn't until I was in college when I met someone who had been sailing around chasing the whales from Puerto Rico to Nova Scotia, and he told me about all the traditional ships still sailing. He invited me out for a visit to Newport, sailed on the Coast Guard Eagle, and then did a little jaunt up to Maine. That's where I found all the schooners and said, that's it, that's where I'm going. So I moved to Maine and got working on the schooners, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
Yeah, my daily routine is have a nice big honking great fat breakfast, go home, jump in the bath just to get myself ready for the Penobscot Bay to warm up a little bit, and then I sail 3 trips a day, in and out of the harbour. Seems like we sail every waking moment and then head back home.
We do a lunch sail at 10:30, prepare lunches for that, afternoon eco tour, and come on and do the talk for the eco tour, and then sunset dinner sail with a wonderful lobster bisque dinner. So our days are full.
We get very tired because it is a rigorous routine, but we don't get tired of it because it's always different. There's always new people, there's always different things on the bay, different weather, different conditions, different challenges, and so it really keeps you quite engaged. I used to build boats sort of full time. My background is engineering, and so when I've been sailing and been on these beautiful classics, I was very interested in how to put them together and how to work the wood and how to bend the wood and how to steam it and twist it and how do you make such an odd-shaped piece of wood. I mean, all this stuff it fascinated me, and not to mention that, when you put all those pieces together, you've put together as like your own little sort of TARDIS. It's like something that can take you to other worlds. Yeah, we actually got a shipment of lumber up from South America, which came under sail into Rockport Harbour, believe it or not. And we sort of stored the lumber for a little while just to let it season, and we poured a lead keel, 18,000 pounds of lead, and set up the backbone and frames pretty much single-handed. We had some help come in and time to time, but it was basically an effort just between me and Bonnie until we got to a point where the boat was ready to plank. And that's when we hired a couple of guys and really worked hard for a pretty solid 8-month stretch. And we went from garboard planks to Coast Guard approved in about 8 months. And we sort of knew what we were getting into. We'd done a lot of other restorations and rebuilt several other boats and built one other boat this size. And it just seemed sort of a bit fruitless really to watch them all sail away, so we decided to do one for us, and that's the Haron. The favourite part of the job is knowing that we're going to sail away into the sunset at some point down to the Caribbean, which we do annually. But also it's being out on the water, being out on the bay, meeting people, and having a very, very fortunate lifestyle. Life on the planet Earth, it's special. Working in the Caribbean is a little different. I mean, we do a different kind of charter. People aren't on just for the day, they come on for a week long or 10 days. The migration route back and forth is actually quite an adventure, and people join us for different legs of that adventure.
Well, the longest passage is about 6-7 days without seeing land. That's the passage south from Bermuda to the Caribbean. And you go through different weather patterns, and sometimes it's rainy and squally, sometimes it's beautiful, sunny, winds that you're sailing for 11 knots for 3 days. Sometimes you're totally becalmed. The sails are slapping and nothing you could do unless you turn the engine on. So it's just a whole variety. I mean, you're crossing the Atlantic and you have the weather just changing as you're going across. So you get into a routine. It depends on the watch schedule. You're on for 2 hours, off for 6. Depends on how many people are on the boat. And when you're off, you're either sleeping or doing any kind of maintenance that the boat needs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different demands on at sea, and you sort of tune into it, and so it's a nice balance that you achieve, and then come ashore and there's just a different world, and that in itself is a challenge. Sometimes it is, yeah. And people are caught up in the day-to-day stuff, and it seems so trivial sometimes when you after doing a long journey at sea.
There's nothing like the night watch. You're sailing under full sail with the stars above, and it's just the most amazing thing, because you're just, you're this tiny speck on this vast ocean. The only light coming is from the stars, and there might be a little bit of bioluminescence in the water. When the dolphins are swimming alongside, sometimes you don't see them, but you see the glow of the bioluminescence, and it's just magical. It's like you're in another world.